Talon number 7, written by James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder, art by Gillum March. So last issue, both Calvin and Casey were made aware via their own methods that Sebastian Clark is the member of the Court of Owls, and in fact may have been the man who inducted Calvin into being a Talon to begin with. So we pick up with Casey, who found out the news in Sebastian's personal penthouse. She calls up Calvin and says, like, hey, I know you're not going to get this message until you're off the island, but, like, don't let him know that you know. And I'm telling you now that it's a whole thing. We'll play dumb and then we'll figure it out. And we see Sebastian has found her there. He's got a gun trained on her and says, like, oh, you've made a big mistake. And he knocks her out with the gun. Then we go back to Securitas Island, where Calvin is tied up, and the Grandmaster, John Wycliffe, I believe is his name, he just lays it down and he's like, yeah, no, he was the one who brought you in, and he was always like fixated on bringing you back, but like not everything he said was a lie. His father did write an expose book on the Court of Owls, but it was actually Sebastian himself who turned in his father in exchange for being able to join, and he worked his way up the ranks and he became our Grandmaster, and then, you know, the events of Batman happened, and now we're kicking him out and he wants back in. So at that point he's like, all right, well, here's the deal. We don't really need you. We kind of want you off the table anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and murderize you. And he talks to the little family line of Talons and he tells the oldest one, all right, you're the oldest, go ahead and kill him. And then the youngest one steps up, Nathaniel. He comes up and he's like, no, I'll do it, Grandpapa. I'll be the one who kills him. And he says, like, oh, I'm eager to show them just what I think of the Court of Owls. And as he holds the knife to Calvin's throat, he flips around, stabs it into the chest of his grandfather. Wycliffe's like, I'm sorry, what's going on? I blinked for a minute, huh? And he lets Calvin break out of his chair, and the two of them go up against the remaining two Talons. And he's like, I always hated you, Dad. I could have had a son at any point, but you suck, and I don't want them to live this life. And he's like, you're a disappointment. He's like, I know. So they all start fighting. Nathaniel and Calvin are back to back, and they throw down some flash freeze ice cubes that allow them to basically freeze up the Talons long enough for them to deal with Wycliffe. And he's like, guys, you can't escape the island. What are you even trying to do here? He's like, oh, we aren't trying to escape the island. We're going to set off those bombs that I put in the sewer. And then all of a sudden the bombs go off. And he's like, you didn't know that in case of explosion, all of the computers are going to be wiped. So despite the fact you were trying to hack your way into them to find out secrets of this island, it's gone now. You can't have any of it. And he's like, that's a stupid security flaw. Like, why in the hell would he do that? And he checks the computers to see that it's true. And he's like, no, this can't be happening. And then all of a sudden an escape pod opens up, and there are literally like mechanical arms that come out of the ceiling and grab John Wycliffe. And he's like, get off. What the hell? What's going on here? And Nathaniel's like, oh, hey, an escape pod. Well, okay, we didn't know that one was the thing. Calvin, you need to take it, because like I'm a Talon. I can get out of this. That's no big deal. You get in there and you stop them. But then, of course, the other Talons have managed to unfreeze. They come after Calvin. And Nathaniel's like, oh, they're breaking free. I'll keep them busy. You get out of here. And so he fires off a grappling hook to grab onto the escape pod as it rockets out and flies off the island. Back in Sebastian's penthouse, he's got Casey in a special, I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a training room, I guess, for Calvin, but more specifically, it's the closet where they keep all of the handcuffs and other BDSM gear. And he's like, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and lock you in this closet, and then I'm going to put you in it's like an iron coffin sort of thing. I'm going to put you in there, and you'll probably die in there because you don't have the escape knowledge that Calvin has. So go ahead and hop in. And he's standing in the closet as he's saying all this, and Casey's like, override, please close the closet. And then all of a sudden the closet door shuts. She turns off voice commands, and he's like, did you honestly think I was not going to have an override built into this place? Like, yeah, no, you're going to be trapped in that closet. And also it's airproof, so good luck with that. I'm out. And so we see Calvin. He's on the escape pod still. All of a sudden the parachute's open and he goes flying just because of momentum. And as he lands on a nearby building, he's pretty beaten up, but then he gets Casey's message and also hears at the very end of it Sebastian like knocking her out. And he's like, ah, crap. Okay, Wycliffe, I'll deal with you some other time, man. I gotta go. So we see Casey leaving the compound with her daughter, and they're like, okay, yep, we gotta go on the run again. And she's like, I don't want to. And she's like, well, tough. We're doing it. Here we go. So Calvin's launching himself through Gotham, and then all of a sudden he gets bound up by some wire, and he's brought up, and wouldn't you know it, it's Batman. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not going to let Talons operate in my city. He's like, I'm not, God, why tonight? I am not a Talon. I am fighting against the Court of Owls. And he's like, yeah, I know. You're Calvin Rose. Here's your whole backstory. And here's the thing that you're doing. But the problem that you're doing is that every time you go up against the Court of Owls, you put innocent lives at risk. And I'm not going to let that happen. And he's like, I do not have time for this today. I have people I love in danger. I gotta go, man. And he's like, well, that's too bad because you're going to be spending the night in the police station. And he puts some inescapable handcuffs on it where even Batman couldn't get out of them. And then he calls up a GPS pickup from the Bat jet. And then by the time he looks back, Calvin's already out. And Batman does like an imaging search, and Calvin throws out some weird tech that messes with infrared stuff. So he's able to escape from Batman. He gets back to the penthouse. Sebastian's just standing there waiting. And he's like, hey, Casey's not here. And he's like, what did you do with her? What's going on? He starts beating the crap out of Sebastian. He's like, nah, she locked me in the closet and left. Like, she's fine. But like, yeah, no, I guess that you know everything now, huh? Yeah, I'm the guy who took you away. I mean, technically that was the recruiter, but I'm the one who said yes. And yeah, I've always been just trying to get my place in the Court of Owls back. And Calvin's like, okay, well, I'm going to kill you then. Like, that's just going to happen now. And at that point, Sebastian says, well, let's see what my new partner thinks about that. And a giant arm comes out of frame, punches Calvin in the face, and he's like, oh God, is this the Butcher again? Are we doing that? Turns out, no. It's Bane. Bane shows up, and he's like, this is the guy who was giving you so much trouble? And it's like, oh yeah, no, he's great escape art. Like, that's why it's so hard to kill him. And Bane's like, escape? There's no escape from Bane. And he picks up Calvin by the throat and says, like, well, let's see you escape from this. And he just cracks his neck and kills him. And Sebastian stands over the body and says, like, well, bye, Calvin. See you in the next life. That's the end of the trade, too. If you didn't know there was a second trade, you think, like, oh, the book was just canceled at that point. So, yeah, no, it's WTF month, and this is by far this week the book that gave me the biggest one, where I'm like, oh, he's dead. He's just murdered. Okay. And obviously Talons, in the general sense, have a thing of coming back, and the fact there's a second trade, it's not a hard leap to figure out what's going to happen next. But the fact that they did have the balls to just kill their protagonist at the end of an issue. Not a, how is Calvin going to escape this one? No, he's dead. He died. This is his death date. So I kind of like that. I also appreciate the issue is it finally had him interact with Batman. It had him not win against Batman, but just escape. I appreciate that they didn't put their protagonist over that much. So yeah, no, it's a solid issue. I really am enjoying it. Now that we finally got the reveal of Sebastian, like hard and fast, I can see how we're not, I wouldn't say we're on the decline of the series, but I can see how we get a lot more focused in that it's not about the court in general. It's about just Sebastian right now, and then maybe other court stuff later. So I'm going to give this one, I'm giving it an 8.5. This is one of the few twist endings that really actually works for me, and I applaud it for it. So really enjoying.